Curling now enters the Sports Weekend spotlight.
Hi again, curling fans. We're back.
Who would have thought? We're back. This is so exciting. Happy Friday night.
Yes, happy Friday. Happy Brier. Colin, I missed you. Thank goodness we only had 5 days in between the Scotties and the Brier.
Thank goodness you only call me 5 times a day too, Devin, and that you tweeted less this week. Your thumbs took a break. But how's everybody in Twitter land and YouTube? Excited for curling? What a Brier field, eh?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, you and I always joke about it, and all the journalists joke about it every year. This is the best Brier field ever. We said that last year in Kingston. They're pretty much all back here again this year. And so, of course, this is the best Brier field ever, right?
Oh, deja vu all over again. But hey, before we talk about men's curling, big news.
Massive news. And of course, you and I, a little bit of credit, we heard this, we saw this coming. We knew that the Women's World Curling Championship could possibly take place in the Calgary curling bubble. And today, finally, official word. And that's a massive deal for curling. They got it right, didn't they, Colleen?
They really did get it right. I mean, as soon as they canceled the event in Switzerland, you were like, okay, hang on. You're going to have the men's, but not the women's. At least that's what I was saying. And so happy today that they announced it. But guess who's even happier?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, sort of prophetic in a little bit of ways, because we had Kerri Einarson on the show. And you remember, Colleen, she was joking about the fact that, you know, her husband and her were talking about the fact that she could potentially end up not going to a Worlds at all, right?
I love that her husband said, just think, you could go to win 2 Canadians, never go to a Worlds. Here it is.
My husband just said to me, he's like, you could be like the first curler to ever like win twice and not go to a world. Twice. I'm like, Kyle, do not.
Right here. Watch that line. Watch that line as it starts to break. And they'll bonk it right there. Well, it needs to be the shot rock, which is back 4. It has to stop. It has to be the shot rock. It has to be the shot rock. And it will go too far. And it will be a second straight Canadian championship for Kerri Einarson. Look at this as they look towards family and friends watching at home. Team Canada.
Oh, look at the girls.
Awesome.
Kerri! So happy for you. Okay, introduce us to your daughters.
This is Chloe and this is Cameron.
Hi, Chloe and Cameron. You've got now 2 gold medals, 1 for each of them. How nice of you as a mom.
Yeah. I said to them, do you girls want to wear these? Yes, sure.
Oh, awesome. How excited, girls, are you to have your mom go to the Worlds now?
Excited. Really excited.
I bet. I bet. Kerri, what was your reaction?
Oh, I was so excited when I got the news. I've heard rumors, but I didn't want to get my hopes up. So I just kind of said, oh, cool. Hopefully it'll happen. And once we got the news today and it finally came out, I was just so excited.
Kerri, just watching the end of that Scotties final again, and no fans, so different from a year ago. Can you walk us through what you were feeling in that moment? Because you're kind of looking around and you want to celebrate, but can you tell us a little bit more about that moment? And then you look up and you have the video board. Just walk us through that.
It was so awkward. I just looked at Val and I was like, well, we don't shake hands. I was like, what do we do? I'm like, kicking and yay! I was like, I don't know what to do. Throw my hands up in the air and celebrate for ourselves. It was awkward. I definitely missed having these 2 there to run and give hugs to, and my husband. So yeah, it was definitely different, but it still felt amazing.
Can I tell you, girls are dead ringers for you. Did they curl?
They
Yes.
do. Yeah.
Really?
One's
Who's
a
the
left,
skip?
one's a lefty, and one's a righty.
Oh man, that's going to be a dangerous combination. Boy, you will be a winning team soon, won't
Just
you?
like Belle and I, hey?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Kerri, how do you feel about curling in May?
Well, that'll be different. We did a few years ago in Russia, I believe, when we went there. But I will give anything to play in Worlds. So if it's in May or June, July, sure, bring it.
I know it's early days, Kerri. We finally got official word this morning, but have you guys talked as a team about what the next bit looks like leading up to that?
We are having a meeting on Monday. We kind of just wanted to have the weekend to celebrate and just do our thing, even though we can't do anything. But yeah, we just wanted to wait, but we talked a little bit, and but not too much.
And what about watching the skipper, Brad Gushu, your mixed dubs partner?
Yeah, I've sent him. Actually, it's too funny because he's in my room that I was in. So I saw that he was tweeting some stuff out, and I was like, "Are you by any chance? Maybe you're in my room. What room number?" He's like 324. I was like, "That's mine."
Wow.
If I would have known that, I would have left him some notes.
And if I knew anything about numerology, I would look at the significance of that room number, but I don't, you know. But what? So what do you do?
Well, Mark is also in Val's room, so who knows? Maybe we'll leave them some good vibes this week.
Tell me, what's your curling club status? I mean, last time I talked to you, you were on the ice there, and you were hoping a curling club opened in Selkirk or Gimli. I can't remember, but
it was Petersfield. Petersfield is the only club that has ice, but unfortunately, I can't use it. So yeah, with just government rules, we're just all self-isolating here.
oh, I thought you only had to isolate for 2 weeks, and that'll be up soon, won't it? No.
Well, no, because it'll be a week on Monday, and then I fly out on Monday on the 15th. So yeah, I text Brad. I was like, "Sorry, Brad, I might be a little rusty. I won't be able to throw." But going into the bubble, the Scotties, I didn't throw either.
So what does that tell you?
Right.
It worked.
All those years I've ruined my hips and knees. Maybe it was a waste of time.
I'm a little nervous for sweeping, though. That might be a challenge.
Oh, good point. Who is going to be your key sweeper there?
I think it's me. But we'll see.
Kerri, you finally get to wear the maple leaf at an international event. What does that mean to you?
I am absolutely honored, and I can't wait to wear that maple leaf with pride. It's something I've always dreamed about, and wearing it on a world stage. So I just can't wait, and to hear all the fans cheering from afar, not from up close. It's going to be truly amazing and a dream come true.
And what about you two? How were you guys watching Mom when she was in the bubble? And are you going to do the same thing when Mom's back in the bubble? What's your girls' plan?
We are gonna watch her on TV a lot.
Excellent. And Facebook and Zoom.
Yes.
Nice. Well, we're so glad you took some time for us. We were so excited, Kerri, to hear the news that you're getting to Worlds, because it sure felt like you were ripped off last year when you were at the event and then it was pulled out. So enjoy every minute of it. You know what? We'll be talking to you again in May.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Thank you for joining us. And girls, nice to see you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, so awesome.
It is. And you know, I think they downplayed the disappointment. I think they handled it with such grace and poise, Colin, because I mean, I don't know what that's like. You know what it's like to represent our country at a world championship. They had bought the groceries. They were there. They had their jerseys. They were a day away from going into this place that they had dreamed about, and it was taken away. So they finally get that opportunity.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what it was like for them, but the disappointment and heartache would have been hard to swallow, and it would have been hard to swallow if they hadn't have won this year.
Right.
And not had that opportunity.
I can't get over the fact that Gushu is in her room. That's pretty bizarre.
Coincidence.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Speaking of bubble life.
I mean, listen, like, here we go, right? The Brier is what? Less than an hour away. The 18 teams are there. We had Chelsea Kerri take us into the bubble, show us behind the scenes. Well, her mixed doubles partner, and the always charismatic, effervescent, and stylish, dare I say. We got our haircuts at the Brier a couple of years ago. Colin Hodgson takes us behind the scenes and into the bubble. Take a look.
Hey, this is Colin Hodgson. I'm a curler on Team Wildcard. I'm in Calgary, and we're in the bubble. Well, having morning coffee out in the sunlight with Rita Rama. Hey, buddy, how's it going over there? Good. What you got in that coffee?
About as close as I can get. It's nice black coffee.
Yeah, I got a lot more cream in my coffee. TV trucks out here. Audio guys living there all day. Here's our supreme private entranceway to the venue. We have our wonderful volunteers here checking that we are good to go. Mr. Tim March, my man.
Yeah, that's scary, man. Sorry to hear that. Big time. Oh, well. I'm here.
You are here.
Yeah. Colin, how are you, buddy?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Really good, thanks.
I'm doing CBC Olympics right now.
Are you?
Yeah. Nice.
Hello, CBC Olympics.
Go hard, the crew is working here, sanitizing our rocks. Rita Rama in the house. Mike's ignoring me, listening to, I'm guessing, Hall & Oates. Rob's telling him what Hall & Oates song to listen to. And the legend, Mr. Samagalski.
Paparazzi, Colin.
I am the paparazzi. So are you? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
Great job. Okay, listen, what is Rita Rama's favorite Hall & Oates song?
You make my dreams come true, obviously.
Yeah, nice one.
Awesome.
Very good.
How are you, Colin? Good to see you. You got the hair. I think we have a photo of the hair. Okay, there it is. Amazing. When's the last time you got a haircut?
The top. It's been since the Brier last year. That was the last time. I've been growing out the top. I've been shaving the sides, obviously, because that wouldn't have been nasty.
Thanks for taking us behind the scenes in the bubble life, by the way. But what is those compared to last year's Brier? What's the adjustment for you so far, other than having a Q-tip up your nose several times?
I think the big thing is figuring out how much, having different strategies to be comfortable, to stay busy. I've been really busy with all sorts of projects, and it's been great. And one of the most amazing things that's happened is I've got an amazing group of friends down in the States. We call it the quarantine crew, and John Schuster's in there, Tyler George, Chelsea Kerri, Darren Molding's now in the group, and a ton of other amazing folks that are huge curling fans. And they've been just going so far out of their way to be helpful. I actually got a little emotional when they sent me this today. It just Chelsea actually was able to get it shipped to me, and there's all these notes of friends, how personal notes that talking about a relationship, and this one's very special to me. This is Ilya, a junior curler down there, and to get this from them, it really reminds me of what I'm about, what I'm curling for, and that's just been the greatest thing to be able to share this experience with them. And they're all here. It's awesome, and I know they're watching this, and I love you guys. So,
ooh, hi, you guys.
Hi, everyone.
It's like a vision board, though, isn't it? But when you say what you curl for, what do you curl for?
I curl to have a platform for other to care for other people and to show that for people. I realized kind of more recently through COVID and through the pandemic that, what am I trying to do here? What kind of image am I trying to project? Is it real? Is it not real? Is it fake? And I think a lot of us struggle with that. And I realized I don't play to win an Olympic gold medal, or I don't, it's a byproduct of why I'm playing. I would like to be a beacon for someone who doesn't feel like people feel what they feel, so being like a mental health advocate, things like that. That's what I play for. So I like to win, so I have a platform where we can have positive change and people feel comfortable about themselves.
Wow. Group hug, everybody. Group hug.
I know. I didn't know we were going there, but we're here now.
We're there.
And
I didn't either.
We're doing it live, Colin, and thank you for being vulnerable with that, because you have been vulnerable on your social media and you have been connecting. And there have been a number of tweets throughout the course of the pandemic where you have drawn out this positive community. Why is that important to you? Because we see social media every day. We know what it can be like, the good, the bad, and the ugly, but you've really put forward a concerted effort to draw out the positives.
I think it comes from being in a low place and being the lowest I had ever been, to realize that there are other people who are feeling that way. So for those people, I think as athletes, it's important that we use our platform to show that, it's okay to be you. It's okay to be you in every fashion of you. And we all will be better together if we, collectively can be ourselves and appreciate each other and be patient with each other and understanding. So it comes from that place, and my life is more positive. It's less dark. It's more bright. I make this reference about from Stranger Things. It's the upside down. It takes a place from being so dark to figure out what the light is. And that's kind of my journey over the last really month and a half, but it took some pretty low spots along the way since the last Brier.
Wow.
Life's often a roller coaster, isn't it? And often if we just remember to be kind, support each other, and to not judge. And when somebody comes at us from a bit of negativity, sometimes remembering maybe they're in a hard place and maybe I don't have to internalize that kind of whatever the negative vibe or, yeah, I hear you. That's really, often also I think the whole thing about curling for me, my whole life is always feeling like an underdog and never quite good enough by anybody's standards. And then always feeling whatever I did wasn't enough. This is now turning into a therapy session.
I'm here to listen. I'm here to listen.
So good. Anyhow, so that's really nice. What else is on that board, though? Turn around and grab your board that you got from Chelsea.
Oh, geez, this one.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Who else? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I like cats. We've got a little kitty pic from Nora. My friend Lindsay from New Brunswick, she's at the Patch. You guys will know her as the sweater, wearing the sweater.
We got her on the
show. What are we talking about? Lindsay McKay.
My goodness, they're knitters. St. Stephen, New Brunswick. Beautiful.
Awesome. Yeah.
Awesome.
Anyhow, I'm sure you like our jackets.
Yes. What a fun project that is.
Yeah.
You guys have the retro look with fake buttons.
Listen, who do you start with, by the way? Look, I've added, Devin makes fun of me for my whiteboard and everything. I've added the...
you got a clipboard now.
I know. Who do you start with?
I start with Mr. Grattan, good friend James.
James is awesome. When was the last time you guys curled together? The Team McEwen.
The last event we played together was in Penticton, and we had a good week. We got to play most of a good chunk of the teams who were in the Brier this week, and we fared pretty well.
Colin, we'd be remiss if we didn't ask you about the mixed doubles. A lot of people chattering about it. We saw the field announced earlier this week. You and Chelsea not on it. A lot of people sounding off. Can you tell us what that process was like for you and what was communicated to you?
Yeah, absolutely. In the summer, Chelsea and I had a meeting, with the Curling Canada representative, and we had indicated, we were going to take all the steps necessary to play mixed doubles this year. We entered a bunch of events, to which all were canceled. So we were trying to put that together, and we didn't have any information. So in December, we were asked for intent, essentially, what all the players were asked who was going to play with who, and that list went to Curling Canada. So we fast forward to the end of January, and that's when the criteria came out about how teams were going to qualify for the mixed doubles, and specifically the last 7 spots, which were it was essentially based on, they would not take any previous mixed doubles experience into account, but they would take the top 3 CTRS points from your men's and women's teams and combine them. So we did know, like, that was released in January. However, at that point in time, we didn't know who all the teams were. The list that Curling Canada had essentially wasn't public, and we didn't know who had intended to play with who. So that's kind of an issue when, with the appeals process, you have 7 days to appeal. However, we didn't know the list of the teams of who was in it until a couple of days ago. And now we can't actually appeal that decision. So it's a little confusing, and I'm a little frustrated. Just, I guess, with that transparency, we didn't know about how it's going to happen. And then all of a sudden we're on the outside looking in, and there's nothing we can do about it. But I want to make it very clear that, we're not upset whatsoever with any of the athletes, because the athletes, they have to do what they have to do to get into events. So I need to make that clear. But the kicker recently is that, a bunch of athletes have become aware that there's going to be points awarded at the Canadian mixed doubles. There's going to be CMDRS points awarded.
Oh.
So that's a major issue.
Yeah.
Because previously, earlier in the year, Curling Canada made the announcement that there were no points going to be awarded this year for safety reasons, for pandemic reasons, and there wasn't for the Brier and Scotties. However, there are for mixed doubles. So my major question is, how is that going to affect the future qualifying for the Olympics? We don't have those full understandings because the events aren't announced yet. There apparently are slots available, but we just don't know enough information. And I just would like it if somehow there was an announcement made to all the competitors to know that there is points, because some competitors are finding out information before others. And, there was a list leaked in January to the competitors, to some competitors in the event. So some people had a list of who was in the mixed doubles event before the announcement was made. And I'm just not sure if that could have had any implications.
That's interesting, but I know pandemic, the qualifying for everything has been just frustrating for curlers from every part of the country. Because I know there have been a lot of people who want to play mixed doubles that couldn't even qualify in the provincial because of yada, yada, yada. Well, not just pandemic, but because of, anyhow. Oh.
We got deep, we got real, we got vulnerable. I knew we were going to get that from you, Colin. So thank you. Be well in the bubble, and good luck. We'll check in with you, but really, thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and you guys crushing it with the show. Good
luck with it all. You're so nice.
Thank you, Colin.
Yeah, love your hair when it's down.
Whip it. Oh, that's good. That's
so
awesome.
Nice.
Take care, Colin.
Yeah, bye,
Thank
Colin.
you guys.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
I didn't even ask him about his tattoos. We'll save that for another show.
We got to keep it moving because we're getting close, and we still have Brendan Bottcher. We've got Glenn Howard. We got
hurry hard.
I know.
Our fans.
We got to get in the house, a fan section, and this is a first for that curling show, Colleen. You ready for this?
We have no idea how this will go, but I love the idea.
All right, here we go. We're bringing on the first ever puppet.
Oh, it's just Gary. It's not a puppet, it's a human. There's Gary. Oh,
hey.
Look at Gary.
Hey, guys.
How's it going?
It's going good. How are you? How are you going?
I'm going good. We love the plaid. Devin, you should be wearing plaid too.
I should be wearing my plaid. And Gary, I heard you said how you going, and that gives away where you're from, Newfoundland and Labrador.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about you, Gary.
Yes, yes, my name is Gary Weaselton, and I host a little talk show here in Newfoundland and Labrador, and it's called NL Now, and on that show I interview all kinds of local musicians and actors and curlers.
Do you curl, Gary?
I've been curling once, Colleen, but I thought it was best for me to stick to my day job.
I mean, there it is. Look at this. I mean,
Yeah.
there's your exclusive here with Gushu. I'm guessing it was hard for you to be objective. Oh, and there's Glenn Howard. But I'm guessing, knowing you're from The Rock, you probably are leaning towards Gushu.
Yeah, maybe just a little there.
This is outstanding. Now, wait a second. Do I see a chalkboard or something there rivaling what Colin might have? And you've got the diagram. Colin, you might have a chalkboard battle going on here.
I feel like I do have a chalkboard, but or at least we both have our almost identical curling strategy boards. I noticed Gary doesn't have any rocks though to move.
No.
No, but that's all right. You can always add to it. All right.
Yes.
All right, Gary. Okay, we want predictions from Gary. This is a big moment on that curling show. This is a first. This is a big moment. Gary, the floor is yours. Give us your Brier predictions.
All right. Well, I think in terms of the final game, I mean, I definitely have to say it. I think we definitely have Team Gushu in there. And as for who Gushu will be playing in that final game, I'm not really sure. There's a few great contenders, but I have to watch a few of the first games yet before I make that final decision.
Like a true pro, no doubt, Gary. Anything else you want us to know about life in Newfoundland and Labrador in your show?
Yeah, well, my show, our new season is actually premiering tomorrow morning on NTV at 10:30 Newfoundland time. And everything here is pretty good. How are things where you are?
We're all in a bubble.
Mm-hmm.
We're loving the bubble life.
Yes.
We don't have to go anywhere. I've got my pajamas on underneath this whole outfit I'm wearing. Perfect.
And I've got a little bit of a change of scenery. The plants were getting annoyed, and so I thought I'd step outside for a bit. But everything's great.
Well, that's great there.
Nice. Listen, what question do you want us to ask superstar curler Brendan Bottcher, who's waiting in the wings for us?
Oh,
Any
gee, I don't
specific
know.
question?
I'm probably not the best to ask that question. If you go back and watch my interview with Brad Gushu and Glenn Howard, well, of course, they're probably two of the best curlers in the world. And, well, I decided to ask them at that time if they had their Christmas shopping done in those interviews. So
That sounds like a great question to me.
Never too early to start Christmas shopping. Gary, you're outstanding. Thank you for being on the show.
Well, thank you very much for having me, and I hope I can come back on again sometime with you guys.
You bet.
Awesome.
You bet. Thank you, Gary. Enjoy the curling.
You too.
Thank you.
First puppet on the curling show. There you go.
There you go.
So waiting in the wings, though, is one of the puppet Gary did not give us a prediction on who might win because it's but I'll tell you.
Played it safe.
What?
Played it safe.
It played safe, but Team Alberta and Brendan Bottcher, you got to think fourth time's a charm here.
Yeah. And I mean, let's be honest. How many times have we seen Brendan Bottcher put magic, curling wizardry on the ice? And I think we have a bit of a video to show some of that magic. Let's take a look.
You got to be the shot stone. Have to be the shot stone, fellas. Wrap it around. Oh, goodness, sit down. Oh, my.
That is incredible.
That's crazy good. Facing two, trying to slash this across. Oh, and he's got it.
Not sure Jacobs can score.
Can he get across the nose a little bit? Oh, they just shaved that stone.
So tight to that top one. Darren called that well.
Martin staying with it. Bang, bang. Here they go. Oh, and he did. Touch them all. They're gone.
What a great shot.
Now it's heavy, they're saying. There's the tap. There's the tap. Is this for the win? Yes, it is.
Honestly, I don't know which shot was my favorite. Do you have a favorite there, Brendan?
That was pretty cool to watch, I must say. There's not it's not very often you get a chance to look back. I think the most memorable for me is the very first one. the draw in the extra end around the rock, top four against Jacobs, that was remarkable.
I don't know. The degree of difficulty in all of those shots was just insane.
Yeah, but at this level, you've got to pull a few of those out for sure. I mean, you could make a highlight reel almost every draw of a handful of those kind of shots. So in the course of a few Briers, you've definitely got to come up with your share.
Yeah.
I always have this weird thing in my head that I'm going to run out of shots. Do you ever have that thought? Like it's come up in dreams. I'm going to run out of shots, or I'm curling on sand, or they want me to go around the big rock on the ocean to get to that spot. Do you ever have any nightmares like that, or is it just me?
It's just
I think that might just be you, Colin.
Oh, darn it. I was hoping that was perfectly normal.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
boy. Brendan, how are you? It's great to see you. You're in the bubble. How are you feeling? This is obviously a very different situation from the Briers you've been to. How are you feeling? What's the vibe right now for you?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. We were very fortunate coming from Alberta. We could just drive down here, so we could bring a whole lot more stuff than a lot of the people that were flying in. So I'm quite happy. I'm set up good here in the hotel. I've been enjoying a couple of days of quiet and downtime, and I'm looking forward to getting started.
okay. What kind of stuff did you bring? What did you pack?
Well, I packed probably a quarter of Costco, I would say, as much of it as I could fit into the Yukon that I rented. And then a whole bunch of work stuff, some stuff to keep me busy when I'm not working. And yeah.
How are you mentally preparing for this? I've talked to so many of you guys, mentally preparing for no fans, being in the bubble, everything's different. I mean, there you are, the team's social distancing. This is so different. How did you mentally prepare for this, and what's the plan throughout it to stay mentally sharp?
Usually coming into an event like this, you're trying to put together all the pieces. You're trying to answer all the what if type questions. What if this happens? What if that happens? How are you going to react? And this year, I think you got to take a little bit different approach. You've just got to be adaptable, and you've got to expect things to change tomorrow, the next day, a week from now. And you've just got to kind of roll with the punches. So I know me personally, that's been something I've been trying to focus on. Just having the ability to roll with it, just take it as it comes, and hopefully we can play well when we're on the ice.
Yeah, and that might be good life advice to just keep in mind for the rest of your life, being adaptable and roll with it, right? I mean, who doesn't want to roll with it? Let me go get the whiteboard back here and just yeah.
Here we go.
Go ahead. I never put it in the right spot. Okay, I kind of have it in the right spot. Okay, look at your pool.
Yeah.
How did you feel when you saw it? Did you go, oh man?
Well, I did, and then I looked at the other pool and I thought the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
The field is so deep this year, especially with those 3 additional teams that got in. I think it's amazing. I love a national championship where absolutely everyone's there, and whoever wins this week can truly say they were the best.
Wow. Yeah,
no kidding.
Colin and I were talking about that right off the top, where every year, Brendan, we say, this has got to be the best field ever. And we were saying that last year, and now we've added 3 teams, and it's like, yeah, this really does feel. I think I read something earlier today. 8 of the top 13 world-ranked teams are in this Brier field, and the top 4 are Canadian teams. So it speaks to the depth, doesn't it?
It does. I think the first couple games you'll see maybe people play it a little bit safe, just trying to shake off the little bit of rust that's there. But I'm sure that within a couple days, the top teams are going to be humming along pretty good.
Other than your new life philosophy of rolling with it and adaptability, what have you learned in the last 3 Briers when you're just every day you're so close?
Yeah, I'm really proud of all 3 of those years for lots of completely different reasons. I think we learned a ton each of those years. And for me, last year was big because last year felt like we belonged there. It felt comfortable even being in the final. We had a great week. I thought we were quite dominant all week. We came into the final. Internally, it felt like we were the favorites just on how we were playing. And that was the first time we had been in a big game like that where it felt pretty real. It felt pretty possible. And I think we learned quite a bit from that moment. And I'm hoping we can carry that through into this year.
I wondered about that exact thing. You wanted to carry it over. I've heard so many curlers say after tough losses, the first thing you want to do is get right back out there, but you've had to sit and stew in this. Did that weigh on you at all, or were you able to just check it?
A little bit. In some ways, we got home and within 2 or 3 days of the Brier last year was when the world started shutting down. And that was a pretty big eye-opener too, that, there's a few things in life bigger than curling. And certainly what happened the year following that has really put it all in perspective, I would say. So yes, I've spent a lot of time thinking about it. I think anyone that's played big games and lost, you do. The second you're done, it's all in front of you. You realize all the things you could have done differently, said differently. And you got to learn what you can learn and then move on.
Life lessons tonight.
So many tonight. We should be taking notes on tonight's show. We've learned so much. Who do you guys open up with? I don't have it on my playbook yet.
We open up against Jason Gunlickson tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning. Okay, we're gonna let you. I guess
get your beauty rest.
No, it's still early there in Calgary.
Okay, don't get your
but we'll let you get some rest. Good luck this week, Brendan. We'll check in with you, but thank you for being on the show.
And don't have the dreams I have, where you're, trying to curl through sand, or don't.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a lot of fun.
Okay, no. Good luck.
Thanks for having me on.
Take care, Brendan. Thank you. Good perspective. Colleen, like I said, it feels like we're like a therapy session meets
adaptability. Right.
All right, we are moving on. Now, listen, we had Glenn Howard on the show.
Right.
He broke it to us during the Scotties that he broke his ribs snowmobiling. He hinted that he's going to give it a try. He's going to see how tender he is. We know Wayne Madaw's there. We know the band is back together. 2012, let's go back to that Brier when they were on the ice together. Let's watch.
Okay, but you're going to push this one out of the way?
I think so.
Okay.
I think that's good.
Okay, doesn't matter. Are we trying to be just a hair hack?
I like hack here. Final stone here in 10. Wayne Madaw calling off Saville and Lang. And there is no more heartbreak for Howard. Craig Saville are the 2012 Tim Hortons Brier champions.
Where'd you get this Madad guy? He's not bad. You gonna keep him?
He's been hiding under a corner for. I've been watching him for a few years. He's pretty good.
Glenn was making everything going into that game. When Glenn's making everything, it makes my job easy. Just give him some chances, and that's all I was trying to do. And all the rocks stopped in the right spot.
I love that when all the rocks stop in the right spot. How are you, Glenn?
I'm good, guys. How are you doing?
Awesome.
Can you hold your hands up over your head yet? Well, that looks promising.
Look at that. I can do the wave.
I think how's it going?
Are you ready to go?
I can curl. Let's put it that way. I could curl if needed. I threw probably, I don't know, maybe 20 or so rocks here. Didn't throw any really peels or anything, but I can get them up to the other end if I have to. That's the bottom line.
So what's going to happen?
Wayner's definitely taking the team. It just makes sense. Like, okay, I can curl, but am I ready? No, I'm definitely not ready. I'm, again, 50, 60 rocks since early December. It's pretty hard. It's pretty hard for anybody to be ready. But the bottom line is, if needed, if somebody gets hurt or somebody doesn't want to play or whatever, I'll jump into those shoes and make some shots. But Wayner's going to take the team, and we're going to see what happens for sure.
That is going to be fun to see, isn't it?
I can't. I'm more excited than he is.
You were born ready.
Glenn, you just saw the video, and you guys speak so glowingly of each other. What's this been like? This is an outstanding photo. You've been together for so long. You've been in so many curling battles, and here you are. Could you ever imagine this is where it would lead?
Like I mentioned a minute ago, Wayne's like a kid in a candy store right now. He just can't wait to get out there, and I don't think he ever expected to get back. Not because he doesn't have the talent, just because he broke his leg in 14 places 5 years ago. And for him to come back, I'm just so excited for him to have the chance to come back. You know, he's coming back here to win this. Like, he's not trying to come second. He wants to come out, and he's going to do the best he can. I'm just so excited for him to have that chance. And he's ready. Like, he's ready to go. He's a vintage Wayne Madoff, saying all the right things and doing putting everything in place. I can't wait to see it.
So do you move sort of into a coaching role, do you find that?
I think I will. I think that's what I'm going to do, coach / fifth. Yeah, I'll do a little bit of that, sit back. You definitely, the 3 years I coached Steve Muirhead, and even Wayne and I talked about coaching, you see the game differently as a coach. It's unbelievable. It's clearer. You see the game clearer, and it's really bizarre how that happens. And I think I will as well, taking this one, because you don't worry about all the things you can't control. In a skipping position, you're worrying about release, you're worrying about ice, you're worrying about all this sort of thing. Coaching, you're not. You just sort of see the game clear. So hopefully I can give the boys a couple of good pieces of advice. Maybe I'll see something that they won't, and I'm just there for them. I'm just going to hopefully come up with a few things they don't see.
Glenn, it sounds like you're fired up.
I am.
I can hear it. Tell me about the team. What have the conversations been like? What's the feeling going into this thing?
Boys are ready. I was so happy. We were able to get a bunch of practices together, which is hard to do in these times. And we Penetang Curling Club kept their ice in for us, which was awesome. It's 5 minutes from my house, 20 minutes from Wayne's house, so we were able to get a bunch of rocks in. Wayne was holding the broom for Scott and the boys, and so it actually made us more cohesive, I think. And we're in a curling club that nobody else is allowed in, because we are the only ones allowed. So you have the whole curling club. You do what you want. It was awesome, and I think the boys are ready. They're stoked. They're ready to go. Can't wait. Obviously, it'd be nice to get on the ice tonight, but our first game is going to be tomorrow morning, and they're ready. Honest to God, they're ready to go, and I can't wait to see what we can do.
And I guess in some ways you're so happy to be there after having that tree hit you on the skidoo.
Again, like I said before, Colleen, this tree jumped out in front of me. I have absolutely so disrespect. I just don't have anything for trees anymore. I don't love them. I
think between you and Wayne, though, when you think about the breakages, when you described his leg, I just think you two should be real careful. I mean,
well, Wayne and I, we've kind of joked about it, that between the two of us, we've got one good body. He's got his upper half is good and my lower half. We're actually looking pretty good, I think.
That might be debatable, but if that's your truth and belief, then you go with it. Okay, here's my pool for you guys.
Here we go, Glenn. Take a look at Colleen's magic board.
Yeah. How frightening is your pool? How frightening are both pools?
Well, I listened to Brendan earlier, and he hit the nail on the head. I thought, oh my God, our pool's awful. Like, this is going to be brutal. And then you look at their pool and go, oh, that's no easier. And to Brendan's point, I think it's really cool. Obviously, we're fortunate enough to get in on that last wild card spot, but this is by far the strongest field I've ever seen. We're ranked 9th in the country, and the top 9 teams in our country are in a Brier. And I can honestly say I've been to a lot of these. I've never in my life seen 9 of the top teams in the country, and then the few below us are in. So, like, it's the best of the best. And again, I go back to what Brendan was saying. That's the way it should be. The best teams in our country need to be at our national championship. And kudos again to the Curl Canada to be able to make this bubble and to make this thing happen in Calgary, number 1, and then to create a field that's second to none. Again,
how tough is it going to be to the top 3?
Pardon me?
How tough will it be to make top 3?
Oh, that's the other problem. Top 4 was tough enough, and now you got to make the top 3. So, you start looking at records. You probably, after this pool, you don't want to have any more than a couple of losses, and then you probably only allowed maybe 1 more loss in the second round. Like, you can't go much further than 3 losses. It looked like in the Scotties 4 was going to get in, as it turns out it didn't. 4, you're totally on the bubble, but 3, you don't want to go much deeper than 3, and then you start looking at the field. Right. Where are we coming up with those 9 wins? But that being said, we can beat anybody.
Hey, we're going to be watching.
I feel like I could go out there and play.
Me too.
Okay, let's not push it, Devin. Come on. Okay, let's go.
Okay. All right, take care of those ribs. Don't go get some ice.
Yes, I'm doing that. You know what? Richie and Hart and I used to talk about, as long as I eat ribs, they heal the ribs. So I'm going to get a plate of ribs tonight.
Okay, go get some ribs. Nice to have you on the show again. Tell Mr. Madaw we'll be, that curling show will be booking him for the.
You should, because he definitely has a lot of funny things to say. You want to hear from him for sure. Listen,
He's funny as you.
thanks very much for having me, and anytime. Love the show. Great job.
Thanks, Glenn. Take care.
Glenn.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
Awesome.
That is awesome to have him in the house.
No kidding. Yeah, and listen, I mean, it's really you and I talked all the time about what we wanted this show to be, and we're getting these updates, right? I mean, in real time, we're learning what's happening. We're getting inside the minds, literally tonight, more than ever, of the curlers and how they're going at this. And you know, I tweeted this earlier today, Call, about the idea that there seems to be an excitement and a joy. You saw so much joy during the Scotties from the curlers. The curlers that I'm seeing, the social media and everything, a lot of joy back on the ice. And I think
and you know what? I mean, I know we talked about this a lot during the Scotties, but we mustn't forget, I mean, we alluded to it a little bit, but the bubble environment that curling has gone out on the limb and created, and now the women's worlds are joining it. The curlers are tested all the time. Their protocols, as Colin Hodgson sort of showed us a little of the behind the scenes, are so tight.
Yeah,
is a great example of how when you create this kind of bubble,
right?
In a pandemic. Now,
yeah, we're winding down here. We're 14 minutes away from the start of the Brier. We're thrilled to be talking about curling, but of course, the sad news, Colleen, today that many of us woke up to: the ultimate hockey dad, Walter Gretzky, dying. And it's been incredible today to see the connections, the stories, how many people he touched. And of course, the curling family is mourning the loss of the great hockey dad today. And you mentioned the fact that Jamie Korab, and I know you have a story too, Colleen, about meeting Walter, but Jamie Korab also, and Team you meeting him as well.
Well, gold medalist from the, which was it, 2006?
2006.
Wow, Jamie, you haven't aged or changed a bit.
I got a better haircut, maybe. That's about it.
Yeah, you look exactly the same. But remember when you dyed it red?
Yeah, did that for the Olympics going in there. Thought it was a great idea. At the time, it probably was. But looking back, I had some questionable haircuts. And I am happy to see Colin Hodgson, though, carry on the funky hairstyle tradition. I love it. Love seeing what he comes up with.
We should have a funky hairstyle tradition. All right, tell us about your experience with Walter Gretzky.
Yeah, it was one of those, in 2007, we're heading to Brantford for the spiel there, and Jay Allen and Wayne Tuck putting the spiel off. So he picks us up at the airport, Jay Allen, and he said, you guys tomorrow want to go by and, visit Walter Gretzky and see his house? And we're like, you for real? Anyway, he brings us there. We go in the house. Turns out Jay's a family friend of the Gretzky. I think Brett Gretzky and him were Wayne's brother, were good buddies. So they bring us to the house. We just walk in, first of all, which was crazy. We're just rolling on into Walter Gretzky's house. We come in there and he calls out from another room, boys, come on in. I'll be out in a minute. And he gives us all these jerseys. We didn't get to keep them, but we all got to wear jerseys. And I mean, he takes us around the house. He tells us all these stories. I mean, he had me almost in tears, telling me about the passing of his wife. Then he's telling me stories about his dog and other things. He almost has me in tears of laughter. And I mean, we're just hanging off every word. And there's one story, there's a bunch of stories, but one of the funnier ones, there's two I'll say. One, he shows us his hockey stick and he said, look at all these autographs. I think it was a Toronto Maple Leafs from a few years before. He said, tell me which players you can identify. And, Brad's a really big hockey fan. So he's like, well, that's Matt Sundin. And I think this is such and such. And that number has to be, but the point of us, we couldn't pick it out. So he said, I told Wayne, you become famous. You make sure those kids, if they want your autograph, you make sure you take the time. They know it's you. I mean, he probably has the most recognizable autograph out there. And then as this is happening, and I'm just, we're just eating up every word. This dog that he got, I look over at that cardboard cutout of Wayne, because we all had to have our picture taken with Wayne, the Pepsi cutout. I was like, Walter, your dog is chewing on your son's foot over there. And then Walter takes the stick and chases the dog. It was hilarious. Like, I'm meeting an iconic Canadian legend celebrity. And I feel like I'm at one of my buddy's house with his uncle. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Truly amazing.
Isn't that a lovely memory? The other weird coincidence is that for some reason you were downloading all of this yesterday on your computer finding these photos. So
yeah, it gives me goosebumps. So we're in a bit of a lockdown back here in Newfoundland now. So I had to go get my old laptop because I had about 50 CDs with old pictures through the years. So just yesterday I was going through all these pictures, and I'd had the picture on Facebook of all of us with Walter, but there was another dozen pictures. So I actually only found those yesterday, saved them to my Dropbox, and then woke up this morning and my wife Stephanie said, Walter Gretzky passed away. And I'm like, wow, I just found those pictures. I haven't seen them since, that day they were taken. So pretty eerie, but yeah, some great memories. And like I said, hearing Walter talk about his wife, but just, the backyard, that rink that, Wayne grew up on, and talking about the table tennis trophies he won, and just hearing the stories from the man himself, it was a pretty cool memory. And it was, obviously sad this morning in his passing, and thoughts certainly go out to his family and friends, but it was quite the experience. I had a smile on my face all day today just thinking about that.
I really wanted you on the show tonight because not just because Walter Gretzky is so iconic, as you mentioned, but the experience you had is what so many other Canadians had when they met Walter Gretzky. He was warm, he was loving, he was inviting, he was like the father next door, and he was everybody's friend. So I think
that's exactly right, Colin. There was one comment someone had on Twitter today, and I forget who it was, that said they had the pleasure of meeting Walter. He was such a kind, honest, just amazing man to be around. It's too bad everyone in the world didn't get to meet Walter Gretzky. And that summed it up.
So true. Well, your pictures brought back lovely memories of him. So nice to see you, Jamie. You're looking so well.
Thank you. I mean, life as a city councilor and a realtor with two kids working from home, it's aged me. But it was great to get some curling back on TV. You guys are doing a great job. But myself and my wife were glued to the Scotties. We were in a Scotties pool. I came third just out of the money, and now we're in a Brier pool again. So I was texting a few of I still got a lot of buddies in curling. I've been texting them the last couple of days. Okay, who are you actually going to beat up here? Yeah. And I've gotten some good responses on those texts. I can tell you that.
So who do you have as your top three?
Who do you got?
I got to take Brad. I mean, part of the reason that they've won 3 of the last 4 Briers, but I mean, they've been playing pretty much up until a week ago. We were kind of living like 2019 here until, probably about 3 weeks ago. I can never bet against Benny Heaves. He's an old buddy of mine, so Cooey. And after that, I mean, there's going to be a bunch in the mix. I mean, Bottcher, he's lost a couple finals, so I think he'll be there. But you can't count any of these guys out. There's about 8 people here. If they win the Brier, I could say, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Wow. And Wayne Madaw could be a Cinderella story.
Just listening to Glenn, at Uncle Glenn there, as we call him, at the end of that, man, him talking about Wayner, like those guys turn into kids when they come to the Brier and talk about curling. It's really cool to see. I got fired up. I wanted to curl again.
Right. I know. I was ready to go, Jamie. I was ready to go.
They can turn back the clock.
Yeah.
Jamie, great to see you.
Yes, great to see you guys as well. Looking forward to a good week of the Brier.
Awesome. Take care, Jamie. Good to see you.
Thanks. Take care.
Wow. Okay, Cole. We got 8 minutes left. Do you want to show one of your? How many boards? 7 boards?
No, I only have a few boards. But let's just go through tonight's matchup, shall we? Before we say goodbye.
7 minutes till we're curling again. Let's take a look.
Nunavut and Saskatchewan. I mean, that's going to be done stone. Good for Nunavut. We love what's going on in the junior program there up in Nunavut. Okay, Nova Scotia. We're calling them McMurphy because Jamie Murphy from Nova Scotia, the skip of the team, opted not to go into the bubble because it's a long quarantine, not just your pre-quarantine before you get to Calgary, but then, of course, you've got your curling and then you come back to Nova Scotia and quarantine for 2 weeks. So Scott McDonald from Ontario is now the skip of that team. What do you think of that one now?
I think Fleury caught on. Now we've got the McMurphy. I mean, we'll find out on Twitter whether or not.
But I'm right up against Cooey right away. So that's baptism by fire for a good team.
Right.
Quebec, the horses. Newfoundland and Labrador. We're calling him Cover Boy now.
Right.
I'm not sure if you saw his Twitter today where he was doing the pose. Let's do it like Greg. You never see Greg not smiling. So, or chewing gum. He better be chewing gum.
Well, he's telling you.
This will be an interesting matchup. And Epping and Gushu right off the bat.
Beauty.
So that's going to be super interesting to see. The pools, as we've been talking about with official boards now, they're both really, really tough. So Pool A looks incredibly hard. Number 1 seed is Brad Jacobs from Northern Ontario, followed by Bottcher. Then you got McEwen and Gunner and Howard and Laycock. I mean, that's a tough field right there.
Yep.
That's the other side with Ontario's John Epping and Brad Gushu and Cooey and Dunstone. And it just, man, it's just the who's who of curling land. So
as good as it, what a show tonight. We are underway. We got to go.
Yeah.
We're 5 minutes away from Brier curling. It's so good to be back, and we're back every night. I missed you, Col.
Yeah, I missed you too. I've got to, somebody was talking about our knitters earlier. I've got to go knit my Northern Ontario moose hat.
I believe you.
Yeah, you believe me. All right. See you tomorrow. We'll do it again.
I'll see you every night.
Oh, we got a really big show tomorrow.
I'll call you in 10 minutes.
Okay. Thank you, producer Sophie, for everything. See you tomorrow, everyone. Enjoy the games.
Good night. Good luck. Good curling. We'll see you on Twitter.